Hello from Dublin, Ireland. Today we're going to look at our last one from Ireland. Sad day, but we're going to look at Leviticus 25 and 26, and we're going to look at 5 things. First, we see this continued pattern of 6 and the 7th day. And that manifested in the fact that the children were able to work 6 years in a field, and on the 7th year they were to give the field a Sabbath. The Sabbath plan continues. You can eat off the land as it grows, but you can't work it, you can't prune anything, you can't plow, you can't sow, and you're trusting that God will give you enough to last. And we find from modern science that God is actually correct, that the field needs to have time to replenish. Now, we've just been pushing in nutrients of all sorts, and we find that that's not really that great, that the land actually does need it. So God was right all along. Imagine that. Number 2, the year of Jubilee on the 50th year is special. There was no sowing or no reaping allowed, just like on the Sabbath year. Everyone can return to their family possessions. If you sold a piece of land a long time ago, it's going to revert on the year of Jubilee back to your family. And people who are sold into slavery, servanthood, are able to go out free, no matter how much money they owe. It's a big year of everything being set right. Now think about that in relation to God at the end of time is going to make everything right. He's going to release the captives. This world is going to be a lot different. And what do you know? It all starts on the Feast of Atonement, the 7th month, 10th day, the year of Jubilee. So God set this up way early, and he's saying, watch this day. It's going to be an important day. 3, God is going to bless those on the 6th year with enough for the Sabbath year. Just like when they collected double the manna on the 6th day in the wilderness, they are able to collect enough, it says, to cover the 7th year and to cover the food on the 8th year. And on the year of Jubilee, it's going to be the same. You're going to cover the Sabbath year, cover the year of Jubilee, and you're still going to be eating off it when you're sowing into your ground on the 3rd year. God is going to bless, but you got to follow him. I've got the feeling that if you didn't follow the Sabbath rules on that 7th year, you would find that you wouldn't have enough. Number 4, the year of Jubilee marks freedom for the house of God. And there's this freedom that God offers in the scripture through Christ. So it's amazing that God put it way at the beginning of the Bible, and then later we're going to really see real freedom. And number 5, the Israelites were not allowed to lend money at interest to their fellow man. Now, they could sell themselves into being a servant if they owed money, and that could be a way of paying someone back for what you owed them, but they were not allowed to charge interest. We kind of wish it was like that in America. People would be a little bit better off if they were able to just give money to their fellow man, and if they could pay it back, they could pay it back. And at the year of Jubilee, well, you know, the law is the perfect system. A lot of people say America's number 1. Well, America's really, in my mind, at least the 2nd best government. Might be a little crazy for some people to hear, but a system given by God himself has got to be the number 1 form of government. The problem was, mankind was in it. Well, let's check out chapter 25. And the Lord spoke to Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come to the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. 6 years shalt thou sow thy field, and 6 years shalt thou prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest to the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest shalt thou not reap. Neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of Sabbath to the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee and for thy servant, for thy maid, for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and in the space of 7 Sabbaths shall be thee 49 years. Then ye shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee for you, and it shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes of thy vine undressed. For it is jubilee, it shall be holy unto you. You shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of Jubilee ye shall return every man into his possession, and you shall sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buy aught of thy neighbor's hand. You shall not oppress one another. So you've really got to have a giving spirit here. According to the number of years after the Jubilee you shall buy of thy neighbor. According to the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto you. According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof. According to the fewness of years you shall diminish the price of it. For according to the number of years of fruits he does sell to thee. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and I am the Lord your God. So according to that, you're supposed to, hey, it's going to be 10 years, so charge accordingly, and charge fewer the closer it is. You just adjust your price. Whereof ye shall do my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and you shall dwell in the land in safety, and the fruit and the land shall yield her fruit, and you shall eat your fill and dwell therein in safety. And if they shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and bring forth the fruit for 3 years. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and ye'll eat of the old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come, and ye shall eat of the old store. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, and you are strangers and sojourners with me. That's a great line that we have to remember, that we are only sojourners here in life with God. We don't own the land. It will be here long after we're gone. It really belongs to God. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possessions, and if his kin come to redeem it, then he shall redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have nothing to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man who sold it, and he return it unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, and that which is sold remain in the hand of him who hath bought it until the year of Jubilee, on the year of Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return his possession. Now, that's going to be really interesting there, that you get it. For the years you have it, you charge accordingly. And then if they buy it back, let's say there's 3 years left till they pay you that 3 years difference because you had it for the years. If a man sell a dwelling house in the walled city, he may redeem it for 1 year after it's sold. Within a full year he may redeem it. And if it not be redeemed in the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout the generations. It shall not go out in Jubilee. So a walled city is different. But the houses of the villages which have no wall round about them shall be counted as fields of the country, and they may be redeemed, and they shall go out in Jubilee. Notwithstanding the cities of the Levites, the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Levites redeem at any time. They only had the 3, I think, cities, but they only had a few cities, and that was their possession, was the Lord. So they're protecting there. And if man purchase of the Levites in the house that was sold, and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee, for the houses of the Levites are their possession in the cities. But the field of the suburbs of the cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. And if a brother be waxen poor and fallen into decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take no usury, which is interest of the increase, but fear the God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him money upon usury, nor lend him victuals for increase. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. And if your brother that dwelleth with thee be waxen poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as a hired servant. And as a sojourner he shall be to thee, and shall serve with thee until the year of Jubilee. Then he shall depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and return unto his own family, and to his own possession, unto his fathers he shall return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, and they shall not be sold as bondmen, so they can't be slaves forever. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear God. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. So you could have a slave outside of the nation of Israel, just not from inside. Moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them ye shall buy, and their families that are with you, and which they begat in your land, and ye shall take their possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever, but over your brethren, the children of Israel, shall you not rule with vigor. And if a sojourner or a stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and he sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him, either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any of his nigh of kin unto him, and of his family may redeem him. Or if he is able, he may redeem himself, or he will reckon with him that is bought from him the year that he was sold into the year of Jubilee, and that price of sale shall be according to the number of years, according to the time the hired servant shall be with him. So even the strangers in the land have to obey by the land, the rule of the land. If there be yet many years behind, according to him that give the price of redemption out of the money that he was bought for, and if there remain but a few years unto the year of Jubilee, he shall count with him according to his years, and he shall give him the price of his redemption. Again, adjust the price based on where Jubilee is. And as a yearly hired servant shall be with him, the other shall not rule with vigor over him in his sight, and he will not be redeemed in those years. He shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, who I brought forth from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You shall make no idols, nor graven image. Again, that's from what we call the Ten Commandments. Neither shall you rear up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down for it. I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord your God. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in the season, and your land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage will reach unto the showing time, and you shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and none of you shall be afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they will fall by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I have respect unto you, and make you fruitful and multiply, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat the old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt. And ye should not be their bondmen, and I have broken your bands of your yoke and made you go upright. Again, God is promising, if you follow my ways, it's all going to go smoothly. You're going to have abundance, you're going to have increase, You're going to need to clear out the old stuff because you have so much new stuff and you haven't gotten through the old. It's all going to go well if you follow me. But if you will not hearken unto me and will not do these commandments, if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do my commandments, but you break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes, and shall cause sorrow of the heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They shall hate you and reign over you, and ye shall flee when no one pursueth you. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins, and I will break the pride of your power. And I will make your heaven as iron, as your earth as brass, and your strength shall be spent in vain. And for your land will not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if you walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you, according to your sins. And I also will send wild beasts among you, that shall rob you of your children, destroy your cattle, and make you few in number. And your highways shall be desolate. And if you will not be reformed by me, by these things, but will walk contrary to me, then I will walk contrary to you, and I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you, and I will avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when you are gathered together within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, meaning that you won't have enough, that you'll have to measure it out. And ye shall eat and not be satisfied. And if you will not for all of this hearken unto me, but walk contrary to me, then I walk contrary to you, and also in fury. And even I will chastise you 7 times for your sin, and you will eat the flesh of your sons, and you will eat the flesh of your daughters. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast down your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols. And my soul will abhor you, and I will make your cities waste, and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation. And I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors. And I will bring the land to desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein will be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and draw you out a sword after you. And your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. I'm going to pause right there, because listen, what it's saying is, if you follow me, I will continue to bless you, and I will take care of you, and everything will go smoothly. But if you turn your back on me and start doing other things, you're going to find your life is hard, and things aren't going to go well. And then if you still don't follow me after that, I'm going to make your life 7 times harder. And it just keeps going. And, if 7 times harder life wasn't enough and you still don't follow God, he's going to make it even more difficult. And you're just going to descend into all these difficulties. So here's the thing. I guess 2 things. First, if you are personally descending into more and more difficulty, you need to check. Are you living your life according to God's ways? If you are not, then you might want to turn around and start doing it God's way instead of your way. And I think we're experiencing some of this in America, that we are descending our way away from God, and we're finding difficulty after difficulty after difficulty. And if we turn to God and do it his way, we're going to start coming out of some of that difficulty. No politician is going to save us here. No new ideas in America are going to save us here. Only turning towards God is going to pull us out of our state. And the farther we get away and the less we serve God, the more difficult it's going to become. Says it right there. It happened for Israel. Check out her history. Wow. So, something to think about. But, listen to this. After all these things, and the people are scattered, then the land will enjoy her Sabbath, as long as it lieth desolate. And ye be in your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbath. So God said the land is going to enjoy the Sabbath, either with or without you. It's going to happen my way, you can participate or not. But it's going to happen. God will make it happen. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbath when you dwelt in it. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they will flee from as if fleeing from a sword, and they will fall when no one pursueth, and they shall fall upon one another as it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye have no power to stand before your enemies, and you will perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies will eat you up, and they that are left of you will pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also in the iniquity of their fathers they shall pine away with them. And if they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers, and their trespass which they have trespassed against me, and that have also walked contrary to me, and that I have also walked contrary to them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham. And I will remember the land, and the land will also be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbath when she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord. But I will remember for their sakes the covenant of their ancestors, who I brought forth of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, and that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and judgments and laws that the Lord made between him and the children of Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. So again, pretty incredible stuff. Just remember, serving God is the right thing. That's how you're going to have a blessed by God life. It doesn't mean you're always going to have money, but you can't replace that feeling that you're in the middle of God's will. He's taking care of you. Life is going pretty good. And if you're running against the wall, friend, I say turn around, follow God, do it his way, and you'll find you'll come out of the difficulty. All right. Thanks for joining me in Ireland. I'll see you tomorrow in Oklahoma. Catch you next time.